I had a lot of questions because you kind of, you're so young, you don't really remember. But then gradually over a period of time, you kind of, question where your roots were and maybe where some of your features came from or what you like and why you like it.
My name is Maylee Myers.
My name is Nikolay Nikolaevich Vasilkov.
At age 1, I was adopted.
At age 7, I was adopted.
I was born in July of 1997, given up at birth. I was supposedly left at a doorstep or like a corner around like a police station in the province that I was born in China.
I was born in a town called Bryansk in Ukraine. I grew up with both my parents at first, and then gradually, I think at the age of 4, they kind of separated, and then I circulated through kind of my family members and friends. I actually always knew I was adopted. Yeah, I got adopted a little older, and I was pretty aware of it.
My parents had hired someone to hand illustrate a children's book about my adoption, which is very unique when I think about it in hindsight, but when I grew up it was just like what everyone had.
My parents were pretty open about it. It kind of took me in like a whole nother family member, even with all the kids and everything.
I learned early on about like China's one-child policy that at the time was like really strict. And I also learned early on about how girls were not favored when it came to that policy as well.
In Russia, it was definitely, some of them were like, generally good-sized buildings, and it's still a lot of kids and everything, but they have like pretty good support. A couple of them can definitely be a little rough, and having so much rebellious youth makes it kind of easy to lash out and maybe get involved with things that you shouldn't be around.
They said that it took over a year from when they applied and like put down all this money to when they were actually able to like hold me like in China. It's a lot of money. It's like buying a new house or a car at that point when you add up all of the expenses that go into adopting a child, especially from a different country. I
circulated through about 2 or 3 orphanages, and then the third one, which was the biggest one, and they had really pretty astounding amount of people, or kids. And so that's the one that I ultimately got adopted from.
My parents never lied or tried concealing like my background. I had a lot of kids when I was younger be like, oh, like, you're not white, or your parents are white and you're not, that kind of thing. And my parents were always very patient with answering questions like that whenever I would come home with them.
I definitely make sure to let my mom know that I love her and that she is kind of like my birth mom, even though that she isn't, but she's a saint. So she took me in, gave me an opportunity I never would have had.
I think that people who are adopted, especially from other countries like myself, that like grow up in the US, we have like a very unique perspective. There were a lot of times where I was like, I don't identify with being Chinese at all, but I also didn't completely identify with being like just American.
Love your parents, no matter how they are, because they really gave you an opportunity that you should cherish, and you'll probably later on learn to love and appreciate, and so that's all you really can ask for.
Adoption, I would say, like my last point is adoption is a great option.
Always kind of look forward, and if you look back, to make sure to take something positive to carry with you rather than to have something that kind of roots you back into the place that you wish you weren't. So that's probably the most important lesson.